Does your vacuum cleaner suck? I mean, well, if it does, then that's a good thing. Welcome back to another video. This is your boy Zen the Geek, and today we have something very obscenely cool, and that is Roborock's latest S7 MaxV or MaxV robot vacuum cleaner that is succeeding the last year's S7, which I frankly liked a lot because of how efficient it was and how well made the system is. I love the whole LiDAR sensor system. I love that it cleans well, it mops okay, I guess, and the robot voice was just pretty cool. And of course, I like the technologies, like Vibra Rise and the sonic mopping, and of course, auto lifting and increasing suction power when it gets to carpets. But Roborock had a different idea for this year. Instead of just going all crazy and just heading to the S8, they felt it was better if they could just give one more model to the S7 range, and that is the S7 MaxV, which is this one. And it only comes in this classy black. This is one classy boy. I love the whole carbon fiber touches and the front and back, and it has a lot of new features even compared to last year's S7. From camera systems that help with tracking obstacles in a new way. It has a new ReactiveAI 2.0, which will help avoid things like pet toys or anything that you just leave on the floor. So that means this breaks the whole conventional mindset of just clearing your floor before cleaning using the vacuum cleaner, which means this is nearly autonomous. It works for itself, and you get to still be messy because there are cameras on this new S7 MaxV, and it works with detecting the entire room. And this doesn't detect the entire room and learn about everything the same way as the S7 did, because now there's 3D mapping. So as usual, you need to download the Roborock app if you haven't already, register and pair your device via Wi-Fi. Don't forget the 2.4 gigahertz and not 5 gigahertz, and you're good to go. So from there, using the same LiDAR sensor and the same PreciSense technology, it will do a really nice 3D map from the app itself so that you can see literally everything. And you can just watch how this robot vacuum cleaner avoids obstacles like an absolute champ. But besides that, there are other prime differences, and we're gonna get to that. Let's talk suction power. So the Roborock S7 MaxV goes up to 5,100 PA of suction power if you enable the Max Plus mode, whereas the Roborock just stays at a constant 2,500 PA. That's double and a bit compared to last year's model, but it has the same 300 meters square cleaning area. And the biggest change that I see, the most noticeable, would be the dustbin and the water tank. There is a 100 milliliter less capacity and a 70 milliliter less capacity for the dustbin on the MaxV, which is a bit weird for me because it kind of looks like the same in size. And I just don't know why there's less. The battery capacity is about the same. It takes about 4 hours to fully charge. And now there's one new quirky feature called video calling. So you can pretty much pair this to your phone, and you can use the robot vacuum cleaner to use it as like a speakerphone with a webcam. So this was primarily aimed to talk to pets or talk to kids to tell them to stop doing something. Or if you are a wife that's kind of suspicious if whether your husband's home just because he told you, you can pretty much use this to drive around the house and look for him and shout at him using the speaker that is also included onto this robot vacuum. Why? And yeah, so with these kind of differences from 3D mapping to 2D mapping and the difference in capacity sizes for the water tank and the dustbin, let's talk about the price. So the new S7 MaxV comes at a hefty 3,399 ringgit, whereas the S7 still is about 1,000 ringgit cheaper. So for $1,000 more, you're pretty much getting more suction power, a webcam, and better mopping as well, and everything else remains kind of largely the same. I mean, even the charging docks look pretty much the same, it's just in a different color scheme. And the cool part is the S7 MaxV comes with a really nice, very handy anti-slip base, which you connect to the power station so that when your vacuum goes back to recharge, it doesn't just slip away under any circumstance. So as expected, the S7 MaxV does much more in terms of cleaning your conventional dust and dirt and grime and everything. Much better compared to the S7. And of course, we definitely have to say thanks to that Max Plus mode that brings it up to 5100 PA of suction power. But that means also one thing. With 400 milliliters of dustbin size, you're losing out just a bit compared to the S7, but you clean a lot more because of the high suction power. But that also means that you gotta, empty the bin out, unless you buy the dock, which I did not buy or get because it's actually pretty pricey. But needless to say, they both have about 2 hours in a full charge of runtime, so that can pretty much clean up an entire house. I live in a condo, so that's pretty much a lot of time for me. And as usual, if it runs out of battery life, you just need to, you don't need to do anything. It just goes back to the dock, charges itself, and resumes the job when it's full. So, whether you have concerns in terms of flooring, this either vacuum does well with hardwood floors, normal wood floors, laminated floors, marble, just about anything, except grass, which you obviously shouldn't have at home, unless it's the fake grass. And of course, your carpets. And for carpet performance, I still don't think that they're there yet in terms of being the ultimate tool to clean and, ungunk your carpets, but I can say that this is really good progress. Previously on the S7, it only just increases suction power and it just gets unavoidably louder when it goes on carpets, and this S7 MaxV is more or less the same. But again, with that much high of suction power, I have every reason to believe this does a better job than the S7 when it comes to carpets. And it did. It actually cleaned out my carpets really fast and really well. At the end of the day, what do I recommend? Well, if you're just a very simple user that doesn't need a lot of bells and whistles, you just need a robot vacuum to do the job, then the S7 will do just fine. It does everything from cleaning, vacuuming, and mopping. And the S7 MaxV just does exactly the same, except it looks a lot more stylish, and you get an additional option of using the video cameras to see where your vacuum is and of course assume remote control of it. And this definitely looks more like it belongs in a gamer's house. Definitely. They both have the same LiDAR SLAM sensor, and they still use precise sense technology, persistence. I gotta stop combining words together. And the only difference is with the ReactiveAI. The ReactiveAI is definitely game changing. It definitely avoids obstacles, as though that it's a person that's manually controlling this vacuum cleaner is deliberately avoiding obstacles on the floor, like your stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Zen the Geek. I want to see these two race.